Beginning in the 13th century, a combination of political, social, religious, and cultural factors provoked changes in culture in the period known as the Renaissance. These changes occurred first in Italy, where the growth of a new secular culture fueled an interest in the classical past. Amid the upheavals of the 14th century, there emerged a new interest in human values in the everyday world, inspired and guided by classical examples. Nicola Pisano incorporated classical elements into the marble reliefs he carved for the otherwise medieval-type pulpit in the baptistry of the Pisa Cathedral. A few years later, Nicola's son Giovanni Pisano carved more naturalistic figures that twist and bend with great expression. Italy consisted of numerous city-states, each functioning independently. Regional schools of art began to emerge. Between 1290 and 1310, two towering geniuses, Duccio from Siena and Giotto from Florence, redefined Western art. Before Duccio and Giotto, medieval and Byzantine artists painted stiff, unsmiling figures who neither looked nor acted like real people. Led by Duccio and Giotto, a group of early 14th century artists began to reject these traditions and became the progenitors of the new and revolutionary Renaissance style. By 1300, Florence was filled with prosperous bankers and wool merchants. Filled with pride, they commissioned Arnolfo di Cambio to construct the Cathedral of Florence. Begun in 1296, it would require 150 years to complete. Arnolfo was responsible for several important structures during this period, including the interior of the Church of Santa Croce, as well as the Palazzo Vecchio, the town hall of the city. These new buildings and churches created a demand for altarpieces, frescoes, and other works of art. Cimabue operated Florence's busiest workshop. His best surviving work is a large altarpiece known as the Virgin and Child surrounded and enthroned by angels. Mary is posed frontally against a gold background, very much in the Byzantine tradition, but Cimabue's painting shows hints of a new naturalism. The rippling folds in Mary's gown keep her from being a flat figure, and the angels are in natural poses. Popular myths tell us that Cimabue, walking in the fields outside of Florence, came upon Giotto sitting in a field tending sheep and drawing them. Cimabue was so impressed he invited Giotto to come to Florence to become his apprentice. How he got there, we're not sure, but we know that Giotto did spend time as an apprentice in Cimabue's workshop. During these years, we know he also learned about the pioneering work of Cavallini and the sculpture of Pisano in nearby Pisa. In Florence, Giotto emerged as a leader with a new kind of naturalism. His frescoes in the Arena Chapel in Padua presented narrative of the life of the Virgin and the life of Christ. His frescoes tell the story in a series of sequential images, and each scene is staged to capture a dramatic moment. Giotto's storytelling abilities, along with the ability to render light and shadow, made his paintings more lifelike than anything seen before. Sienese painters opted for a more decorative style of painting influenced by the International Gothic style. Figures are thinner, elegant, and courtly. Drapery in Sienese art is less defined by mass than by line, resulting in thin, fluttering draperies and complex linear patterns. Notice all the structure that surrounds and supports the painted images. It reminds us of a Gothic cathedral. Artists painted with egg tempera on wooden panels and embellished these images with burnished gold leaf. Duccio's altarpiece of the Maestà is a polyptych in which the main panel on the front side represents the Virgin enthroned in majesty as the Queen of Heaven. He shows relaxed, naturalistic figures modeled in light and dark, and painted with considerable sensitivity to color and texture. Drapery falls and curves convincingly. In panels on the back side of the altarpiece, Duccio reveals his skills as a narrative painter. Simone Martini developed an elegant and intricately ornamented style. His Annunciation altarpiece is characterized by elegant shapes, radiant color, flowing and fluttery line, and weightless figures placed in a spaceless setting, and enhanced by the intricate tracery of the late Gothic frame. The brothers, Pietro and Ambrogio Lorenzetti, were the first Sienese to adopt the dramatic quality of the sculptor Pisano and the naturalistic approach of the painter Giotto. In their experiments with three-dimensional spatial arrangements, the brothers, particularly Ambrogio, foreshadowed the art of the Renaissance. Pietro was the more traditional of the two. Ambrogio Lorenzetti was more realistic, inventive, and influential than his brother. He's best known for the fresco cycles Good and Bad Government on the walls of the Palazzo Pubblico, or Town Hall of Siena. One of the most remarkable accomplishments of the Renaissance, the fresco series lines 3 walls of the room where Siena's chief magistrates held their meetings. Citizens were able to look at these scenes and recognize both their city and the surrounding countryside. The Proto-Renaissance, as we've now come to call this transition period, was a time of innovation by individual artists, each taking small steps towards the artistic epoch we now call the Renaissance.